Hello again, and a warm welcome back to our shared space of reflection. It's wonderful to journey with you once more as we explore the quiet depths of wisdom that accumulate over a long and eventful life. Here, we value the perspective that only time and experience can truly bestow, the insights that help us navigate not just the sunny days, but the inevitable storms as well. Today, we turn our attention to a concept that might sound simple, yet represents one of the most profound and often most challenging lessons learned across many decades: the art and practice of letting go. When we're younger, life often feels like a process of acquiring knowledge, skills, possessions, relationships, status. There's a forward momentum, a drive to build and achieve. But as the years gently unfold, many find that true peace, lasting contentment, and genuine freedom often come not just from gaining, but paradoxically, from releasing. From consciously letting go of the things that weigh us down, bind us to the past, or prevent us from fully embracing the present. Letting go isn't about apathy or giving up on what matters. Far from it. It's an active, courageous process. It's about discerning what is truly essential, what serves our well-being, and what is merely excess baggage, emotional, mental, or even physical, that we carry unnecessarily. It's about making space for peace by releasing the tight grip we often hold on things that are ultimately beyond our control or no longer serve our growth. So let's explore together some key areas where the wisdom of age often illuminates the path of letting go, starting with something universally human, yet potentially debilitating. Letting go of past regrets. Regret. That heavy cloak woven from the threads of if only and what if. How many of us carry its weight, sometimes for decades? We replay past mistakes in our minds like endlessly looping films. We berate ourselves for decisions made long ago, words spoken in haste, opportunities missed, paths not taken. Regret can anchor us firmly to the past, preventing us from fully inhabiting the present or moving with hope into the future. It can become a constant source of inner turmoil, casting a shadow over current joys. The perspective gained over many years often reveals a crucial truth about regret. Those past decisions, the ones we now judge so harshly, were almost always made with the knowledge, the understanding, the emotional maturity, and the resources we possessed at that specific time. We didn't know then what we know now. We hadn't yet learned the lessons that came from making that very mistake. Hindsight, as they say, is always 20/20, but living life forwards means navigating without that perfect clarity. Holding onto deep regret is like choosing to carry a sack of heavy stones on your back every single day. It serves no purpose other than to exhaust you and slow you down. The events are over. They cannot be undone. The true task isn't to magically erase the past, but to change our relationship to it. This involves cultivating self-compassion. It means acknowledging the mistake or the painful outcome. Yes, but doing so with kindness towards the younger version of yourself who is doing the best they could in those circumstances. It involves extracting the lesson. What did this experience teach me? How can I use this learning to make different choices now? And then, crucially, forgiving yourself. Self-forgiveness is not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about releasing yourself from a prison of perpetual self-punishment. Ask yourself, what past regrets am I still carrying? Am I willing to acknowledge the pain, learn the lesson, and gently set down those heavy stones? Letting go of regret doesn't invalidate the experience. It liberates you from its continued burden, freeing up enormous energy to live more fully now. It's a profound act of kindness towards your present and future self. Now, let's turn to another area where letting go offers immense freedom, though it often challenges our deep-seated desire for security. Letting go of the need for control. When we're navigating the complexities of life, particularly in our earlier decades, there's often a strong, instinctual drive to control things. We strive to control our career trajectory, our finances, our relationships, our health, even the perceptions others have of us. This desire for control stems from a natural human need for safety, predictability, and security in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain. We believe that if we can just manage all the variables, plan meticulously enough, work hard enough, we can guarantee certain outcomes and avoid pain or disappointment. But one of the most consistent lessons delivered by a long life is the profound realization of just how much lies utterly beyond our control. Life is inherently unpredictable. Illnesses arrive unannounced. Accidents happen. Economies shift. Natural disasters occur. Other people make choices that deeply affect us. Choices we cannot dictate. Loved ones get sick or leave us. Global events unfold in ways no one could have foreseen. Clinging tightly to the illusion of control in the face of this inherent uncertainty is a primary source of human suffering. It leads to constant anxiety, frustration, anger, and disappointment when reality inevitably deviates from our carefully crafted plans. Trying to control everything is like trying to rigidly steer the course of a powerful river. You expend enormous energy fighting its natural flow, ultimately exhausting yourself and likely ending up battered against the rocks anyway. The wisdom lies not in achieving more control over external circumstances, which is often impossible, but in shifting our focus to the one thing we can exercise significant influence over: our own, our state, our responses, our attitudes. We cannot control the storm, but we can choose how we navigate it. We cannot control another person's behavior, but we can choose how we react to it. We cannot control whether we face loss or hardship, but we can choose whether to meet it with bitterness or with resilience and grace. Letting go of the need for absolute control doesn't mean becoming passive or fatalistic. It means accepting reality as it is, acknowledging the limits of our influence, and focusing our energy where it can make a difference, in our own thoughts, choices, and actions. There is incredible freedom and peace to be found in embracing uncertainty, in developing trust in our ability to handle whatever life brings, rather than desperately trying to prevent the unpredictable from ever happening. It's like learning to skillfully navigate the river's currents, using its energy rather than fighting against it. This acceptance allows us to meet life with more flexibility, less resistance, and a much quieter mind. We've touched on letting go of regret and the need for a control to significant burdens. But the journey of release often extends further into our expectations of others and even our attachment to material things. We've touched on letting go of past regrets and the exhausting need for absolute control to significant burdens we often carry. But the journey of release, this pathway to inner peace, often extends further, requiring us to examine our attachments in other crucial areas of life, starting with our often unspoken demands on the people around us. Letting go of unrealistic expectations of others' relationships are central to our lives, but they can also be a source of considerable pain and frustration when tangled with unrealistic expectations. How often do we feel disappointed, hurt, or angry because someone didn't act the way we thought they should? We expect partners to anticipate our needs perfectly, children to follow the exact paths we envision for them, friends to always agree with us or be available precisely when we need them. We project our own desires, values, and blueprints onto others, and then feel let down when they inevitably assert their own autonomy and make different choices. Holding tightly to rigid expectations of how others must behave is a recipe for perpetual disappointment. A long life often teaches the humbling lesson that people are complex, unique individuals with their own histories, motivations, limitations, and perspectives. They are not extensions of ourselves, nor are they characters in our personal life script, obligated to play the roles we assign them. Letting go in this context doesn't mean lowering our standards for how we deserve to be treated or accepting disrespect. Healthy boundaries are crucial. Instead, It means releasing the demand that others conform perfectly to our wishes. It involves cultivating acceptance of people as they actually are, recognizing their right to their own feelings, choices, and paths, even when those differ significantly from our own. It means communicating our own needs and boundaries clearly, but without attempting to control the other person's response. There's immense peace to be found in appreciating people for who they are, rather than constantly measuring them against an idealized version in our minds. It allows for more genuine connection, reduces conflict, and frees us from the emotional roller coaster of unmet expectations. When we stop trying to change others and focus instead on accepting them while maintaining our own integrity, relationships often become smoother and more harmonious. It's about offering others the same freedom to be themselves that we desire. Now, let's shift from the interpersonal to the material world, another area where letting go can bring surprising lightness, letting go of attachment to material possessions. Our society often equates success and happiness with the accumulation of material wealth and possessions. We are encouraged to acquire more, bigger, better, houses, cars, clothes, gadgets. Possessions can certainly bring comfort, convenience, and even aesthetic pleasure. But the wisdom gained over decades often reveals that deep, lasting fulfillment rarely stems from owning things. The initial thrill of a new purchase fades, objects require maintenance, storage space becomes cluttered, and we can find ourselves burdened by the sheer volume of stuff we own. Many people find that as they age, there's a natural inclination towards simplifying, towards downsizing. This isn't just about practicality. It often reflects a deeper shift in values. Experiences, travel, time with loved ones, learning new things, moments of connection, begin to hold far more weight than physical objects. Memories created are cherished more than items collected. Letting go of excessive material possessions can be incredibly liberating. It frees up physical space, reduces mental clutter less to clean, organize, worry about, and often frees up financial resources as well. It allows us to focus on what truly brings joy and meaning, rather than being weighed down by the obligation of ownership. This might involve donating items we no longer use, consciously resisting impulse purchases, or simply appreciating the value of enough rather than constantly striving for more. This doesn't mean embracing asceticism unless one chooses to, but rather developing a healthier detachment from material things, recognizing them as tools or temporary pleasures, not as the source of our identity or ultimate happiness. There is a quiet joy, a sense of freedom and lightness, that comes from realizing how little we truly need to be content. Beyond possessions, we also often need to let go of intangible things, like outdated versions of ourselves. Letting go of old identities all roll us through our lives. We inhabit various roles and identities: student, employee, boss, parent, caregiver, spouse, community leader. These roles shape our sense of self, provide structure, and often contribute significantly to our feelings of purpose and self-worth. But life inevitably brings change. Retirement arrives, children grow up and leave home, relationships end, physical abilities shift. When these defining roles change or fall away, it can trigger a profound identity crisis if we are overly attached to them. We might feel lost, invisible, or unsure of who we are without the title or function that previously defined us. Letting go of old identities is crucial for navigating these life transitions gracefully and finding continued meaning. It requires acknowledging that while those roles were important parts of our story, they do not represent the entirety of who we are. Our intrinsic worth as human beings exists independently of any job title, family status, or physical capability. This process involves grieving the loss of the familiar rule, certainly, but also opening ourselves up to discovering new facets of our identity, exploring new interests, cultivating new sources of purpose. Perhaps retirement allows time for a long-neglected passion. Perhaps the empty nest creates space for new forms of community involvement or personal growth. Letting go of the who I used to be allows us to embrace the who I am becoming now and the possibilities that still lie ahead. It's about redefining ourselves based on our enduring character, values, and potential for growth, rather than clinging rigidly to past labels. Finally, weaving through all these areas is the essential practice of releasing specific hurts. Letting go of grievances and resentment similar to letting go of regret. Holding onto specific grievances, nursing anger over past injustices, replaying betrayals. Clinging to resentments against individuals or even institutions keeps us tethered to pain. As we discussed in a previous reflection on forgiveness, this bitterness primarily harms the person holding it. Letting go of these specific hurts is a conscious act of prioritizing our own peace of mind over the perhaps justifiable desire for retribution or validation. It means acknowledging the wrong, feeling the associated emotions, but making a deliberate choice not to let that past event continue to dictate our present emotional state. It's about reclaiming our power from the past event or person. This release doesn't mean forgetting or saying the action was okay. It means refusing to allow it to poison our present any longer. It's the ultimate act of emotional self-care. Conclusion: the peaceful path of release. We've journeyed through several key areas where the practice of letting go can profoundly enhance our peace and well-being. Releasing past regrets, relinquishing the need for absolute control, softening unrealistic expectations of others, detaching from excessive material possessions, moving beyond old identities, and freeing ourselves from specific grievances. It's crucial to remember that letting go is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice, a skill honed over time. It requires awareness, courage, and often great compassion for ourselves. It's not a sign of weakness or indifference. Rather, it's a sign of profound wisdom and strength. It's the recognition that clinging tightly to things that cause us pain or are beyond our control only diminishes our own vitality and joy. By consciously choosing to release these burdens, the weight of the past, the anxiety about the future, the demands on others, the clutter of possessions, the rigidity of old roles, we create space. Space for peace to settle in our hearts. Space for gratitude for the present moment. Space for a new growth, new connections, new joys. Space for lightness, freedom, and a deeper sense of contentment, regardless of external circumstances. This is one of the most precious gifts that the perspective of age can offer. The understanding that true freedom often lies not in holding on tighter, but in learning to gracefully let go. What are you currently holding onto that might be ready for release? What step, however small, could you take today towards letting go and finding greater peace? We invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your wisdom enriches our community. If this reflection resonated with you, please show your appreciation with a like and consider subscribing to Elderly Wisdom for more conversations like this one. Sharing this video helps these insights reach others who might find them helpful on their own journey. Thank you once again for your presence and attention. May you find courage and grace in your own practice of letting go, and may it bring you closer to the peace you seek. Until next time, be well and walk gently.